Hi, everybody. So, a lot has happened since the last video that I posted. The last video I was talking about, I was going in just for checkups for my cancer in my spine because I had worsening pain. So, I went in to my pain management doctor at Sloan Kettering, and I also had severe right side pain that had been happening since October, and they didn't know what it was from. They're just assuming cancer or radiation, and my pain management doctor thought it was a muscle. So so he put me on a muscle relaxer. Didn't do anything else. He wasn't gonna do a spinal injection, which was I thought was the plan because I thought it was, my spine was breaking more because of all the fractures, like 6 fractures. So he he just gave me that and said, like, we'll monitor it. But then I literally went into my spine doctor, my neurosurgeon, right after that appointment. And he goes, this isn't muscle related. He goes, I think this is obviously from all the fractures and the cancer in your spine. And he goes, I could do nothing with all the fractures because I wasn't at risk of paralyzation like my T3 was. He said I could just deal with the pain and hopefully the cancer's gone and then it would heal on its own. He goes, but if not, obviously the cancer gets worse and then I would have to live with the pain in my T9 all the way down to my lumbar because the cancer had spread and broke all the way down to my lumbar at this point. So then he was like, I recommend we do something now and patch it up because if we wait, I'm not going to do anything. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm talking like schedule it now, like the next couple of weeks. And I was like, okay, wow, okay. I did not like expect that at all for him to say a second spine surgery. I was like, okay, like that's your recommendation. I fully believe you, and that's what I want to do. So we scheduled that, and I then he's like, and I want you to get the injection in your back, the nerve block. And so go back to your pain management doctor. So that was kind of annoying because I had to go back down a week later to New York City, 4-hour drive to get that. And so I was kind of mad at the pain management doctor, but so I got that, and then I was ready for the surgery on November 7th, and I did it. And it was absolutely horrible, like recovering from that. It was way worse than the T3 recovery. I was in so much pain. They had me on so many pain meds in the hospital. Like I was on my fentanyl and Dilaudid. And they were even giving me cabs because I guess it's just an extra dose of pain medication because they took me down for an x-ray after the surgery to make sure all the parts in my back all the way down my spine were okay. And they put me in a plastic wheelchair sitting up. I By the time I got upstairs, I was bawling. The aide that was pushing me was like, you need to get her pain medications, like she needs help. And so people hurried up and like got me in the bed and laid me back down. But that's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is the next day an Asian doctor came in and didn't even say anything to me, looked at me, left, came back in and goes, oh, you're being discharged today. Like a day and a half after I'd even been in the hospital after the surgery. A day and a half. Not even 2 days. And they were discharging me. She's like, can your family be here by 3 p.m.? Because they live upstate New York, so they had to drive 4 hours to come get me still. I was at the hospital alone. So then I was like in shock that this woman was saying this to me. And she left, and the nurse came back in. I'm like, how am I supposed to go home when I'm on all these crazy pain meds here? And you want me to go home like on nothing? And I can't manage my pain at home alone. How am I going to do this? She's like, oh, well, you'll be in your own bed, and I think you'll just be more comfortable, and you'll be fine. You won't have a screaming roommate in the middle of the night, and I think you'll adjust better. I was like, okay, I guess so. So I was pretty scared to leave the hospital, but they were saying I can do it. So my family literally made like a makeshift bed out of the back of their SUV because I couldn't sit up in a chair. So they laid everything down and put mattress. It was super comfortable. So I slept the whole way home. And then I just got in my bed. But I tell you what, I didn't even make it 24 hours, and I thought I was going to die from pain. I was calling Sloan Kettering, they're on call because it was over the weekend. They discharged me on a Friday, so I couldn't even call anyone. Called their on call, and he was like, well, if you're in this much pain, you should be in the hospital. I flipped out on this guy. I was like, you guys discharged me. I didn't want to go home. I know I needed to be in a hospital. So then he's like, well, I'm like, what can I do? I'm 4 hours away from you. You want me to come back to Sloan Kettering? I'm 4 hours away. I'm telling you, I need something to do right now. I'm in so much pain. I can't even move. I don't know what to do. He's like, well, like, take 3 oxycodones at one time and like basically numb me. And I'm like, and then he's like, come down to the city. And I was like, how am I gonna make it there? Like 4 hours, I don't even get it. That doesn't even make any sense. And I'm like, he's telling me I need to be in an urgent care like right now. I'm like, I hung up with him and I told my husband, I'm like, call 911. So, and like, even the guy on the phone, he's like, has 911, he's like, has she passed out from the pain yet? And I'm like laying in my bed. My body was like, it was like going numb. In my head, everything was ringing. Like, I felt like I wanted to pass out, but I was afraid to, because I don't know, people can go in a coma and stuff. You hear crazy stuff, and I didn't want to pass out, but I kind of wanted to because the pain was so bad, but I never did. The EMS got here, and it was annoying because they carried me down out of my house in a metal chair because they wouldn't let me walk or carry me. I'm like, dude, one guy can carry me. Like, you guys are buff, dude. And they were like, no, we gotta put you in this chair. And I'm like, oh my God. So they put me in this chair, took me out of my house. And then in the freezing cold in November, in the middle of, like, at nighttime, 11 o'clock at night, this was all happening. They put me in they switched me over to the gurney, the bed, and outside in the cold. And then they put me in the ambulance, and this all took so long. Ambulances are very, very slow. So, and I didn't want to go to my local hospital because they treat me like a cancer patient. Like, I've gone to the hospital and they're like, well, you have cancer, go to Sloan Kettering. And so I didn't want to go there. So I asked them to drive me up to Guthrie in Sarah, PA, and which I know they have not, they're not a National Cancer Institute, so they're not good. They're not like very knowledgeable in cancer like Sloan Kettering is. And like the staff doesn't even know, they don't even know how to do ports and stuff and take blood from a port. So like, whatever, that's fine. Like, whatever, that's on them. Like, that's their nurses and stuff. But I couldn't believe it. But they took me up there because I knew they knew more about cancer, and they treat me better, and they consult with their cancer doctors or in mine better. So they took me up there, and the emergency doctor like gave me just tons of pain, crazy pain medications I've never even had before. I started hallucinating and I was freaking out. I told him not to use one. I can't even remember the name of it. But, I don't know, I thought it started with a C, but it was some weird hallucinogenic. But it was way too strong. But then they put me, I had calmed down and I wasn't moving. And then they just left me in a bed and they moved me to kind of like a transition floor. And then, like, the next day, they moved me on their oncology floor. So that was just comforting because they had an oncology floor and the nurses were asking about my situation. They were looking at my back because I have like 8 stab wounds, like where they cut me open, sliced me open. My back is like, was just filleted everywhere. Like they put hardware in so many different spots and rods and screws and cement again all the way down my spine and cemented and injected like cement in some of the other smaller fractures in my back. So I had so much this back surgery was so intense. I can't believe they even discharged me after a day and a half because it was so painful. So then they kept me there like 8 days on pain meds because that's how long it took me to, even like before they discharged me, I was like scraping by, just like trying to pull myself up just to like even shower. I finally was able to like stand up, get to a shower, finally go to the bathroom by myself and like go to the bathroom without pain. Well, not a lot of pain being on pain meds. So then I knew I was, by that time I was getting better and they were really nice there. They were like, you don't even have to be discharged if you don't want. Like, if you gotta go home, you can, but we're not making you go home. And I was like, no, I think I can go home and try it at this point. Because even got up and like walked with my brother down to the cafeteria by myself and ate and then made it upstairs. I mean, that was a lot, but I made it. So I was like, oh, I think I can do this. Because I was going to the bathroom by myself at that point without severe, intense pain where I thought I was going to collapse. So I was discharged home and I thankfully I recovered. I did good. But that whole ordeal was just, oh my gosh. I really hope that is the last. I mean, he's even hoping that was the last spine surgery. Because hopefully they kill this cancer and my spine can heal. But I just have to find something that can kill this cancer first. So that was intense. But they still couldn't figure out this right side pain. And I actually just recently ended up back in the hospital again, a second time, at Guthrie. I went to Guthrie again because I was bleeding a lot from my down there. And that's not even normal because I don't even bleed anymore. I don't know why. But so I knew something's up. This isn't normal. Like, this is a lot. Something's wrong. So I went there. They told me that I had a UTI that had gone untreated and went up to my kidney and was causing that severe pain in my right side to the point where I couldn't even walk. Like, it got so bad where I couldn't even walk. I had go to the store, nothing. It was so bad. I had to go back to the car and I was like, trying not to cry, laying down in my vehicle. Like, so I can't even believe that's what it was. Oh, but that annoys me because I do remember this woman at Sloan Kettering, this nurse. She goes, oh yeah, I see in your urine you have an infection, but you don't have symptoms, so we don't treat it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I guess so. So I just trusted her, but that was in October and it went untreated and got worse. And I didn't even know. I didn't even think about it. No one even knew. So out of all these doctors, a fourth doctor finally found out what was wrong with me months later. It's like every time something something has to get so bad for a doctor to finally figure out what is wrong with me. 4 doctors later. Oh, it's like one thing after the next, and it just takes so long. I'm in so much pain, and for anyone to figure out what's wrong, but I end up in so much pain by the time someone can figure out what's wrong with me. So that's the sucky thing about, I don't even know, I guess doctors and all these medical problems, they don't know, they got figured out, and it takes, most of the time, it is the worst before they figure it out. But yeah, so lo and behold, like everything, all that right side pain. So I'm off my muscle relaxer because that one doctor thought it was a muscle. My pain management doctor thought it was a muscle related problem. So I'm off that pill. So it's just crazy. I'm off all I'm off a lot of my pain medications because of just something so petty like that. And I just can't believe it. I feel a lot better because they're solving all my problems. But and also an update too is I had the first chemo didn't work. They call it FOLFOX. That didn't work on me, so they stopped that, and it was doing more harm than good on me. And then tried the Mechanist pill, and that's what I had been trying in the last video. But I had lost a lot of weight, like 30 pounds. I was down to 100 pounds. So that was doing more harm than good. And they found out that they told me that my cancer had spread to my liver and my lymph nodes now. So it's spreading, it's not helping, mechanism isn't working. We got off that. So now what's currently happening is that I'm on a new chemo, but it's intensive inpatient chemo. So it's every 3 weeks, 3 days in a row, 5 hours a day of chemo. And then I go home and recover for 3 weeks, come back, do it all over again. So I was losing my hair, so I shaved it off again, which is fine because I have all these hats and wigs and whatever. I wore makeup today just because I was doing a video, but most of the time I don't. And my husband says my lips are like purple. I look like a dead person walking around because I'm so pale. I'm just like a ghost, I'm just so pale, like a corpse, kind of freaks him out. So I decided to wear makeup today. So I'm on my I just literally finished my second cycle of that chemo. So I just did 3 days down in New York City. And the first time I did the cycle, I was sick for a day. And then this one, I was sick for 3 days. And I got over the hump. But I didn't projectile vomit this time. So that's nice. And I held everything down. But I was just super fatigued. Like, the fatigue gets so bad, it's crazy. Because it's like, I lay in bed and I can't move. I feel like I'm gonna take my last breath. That's how shallow and still I am. It's just wild how suppressed I can feel my body. And like, I can't even lift my arms, nothing. But yesterday I got over the hump. I actually ate dinner. I wasn't nauseous. I could finally finish 3 meals in a day and drink my protein drinks. And so, yeah, so a lot of my pain is gone. The only pain and medication that I'm taking is my shingles pain and they said it's that's my permanent shingles pain in my right shoulder blade that shoots down my arm and back arm, back of the arm, down my back. So they're gonna do like a hot pepper, like a capsation type thing patch when I go down to the city next time in 3 weeks to see if they can like burn my nerves because it's supposed to last for 6 months. So hopefully I can get off my medications, like all my medications. So that's gonna be crazy because I'm feeling so well. And I just saw my medical oncologist, and because they said the cancer spread to my liver, so my enzymes were high and not doing well. Because they were even like, "Are you drinking alcohol?" And I was like, "No." I don't drink alcohol anymore because of the cancer, ever since cancer diagnosis. And she was like, your liver's not doing good. And so that was a letdown. But the last time I was there, this past Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I saw her Thursday, and she goes, your labs are completely normal for your liver. Your liver is completely healed. There's no problems. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? I don't get it. What is that? Like, what does that even relate to? Is that because I'm off medications and I fixed the UTI, or we fixed the UTI? What was that? I don't get it. And she's like, this blew my mind. She was like, I think the chemo's working. I was like, for her to make that assumption and say that to me, I was like on cloud nine. I still am, because I'm so hopeful. I can't even believe she even associated that. She's like, I think it's the chemo working, and the cancer's out of your liver. That's why your liver is completely healed. And you're doing so well. And I'm like, wow, like, I hope she's right, because that's amazing. Like, I only did my second cycle. I'm doing well. Like, each cycle is gonna get worse and worse and worse and more traumatic, but I'm like, for them to say like it's working, and I don't care, like, as long as I don't die from it, obviously I'm gonna like try and stick this out as long as I can, no matter how hard it gets, because it's working. She's saying, I can't wait. So now I'm like anxious, because like my next scan isn't even till March 7th. So I'm really curious. I'm so curious to see the scan and see how the cancer is in my body, and if it's reduced, like regressing, leaving my body, hopefully forever. And I mean, that would be amazing if I go into remission from this chemo and they start immunotherapy, and I can just take a pill or immunotherapy for the rest of my life and be cancer free. Like, wouldn't that be a story to tell? That would be a crazy story to tell. Telling me I'm gonna die, and 2 years later, well, remission and hopefully cancer free for the rest of your life. Like, wow, like, so I don't want to get my hopes up too high and like, just think too unrealistic about it, but I'm very hopeful at this point. Like, I'm just very happy right now, because I'm pain free and I'm doing good. So yeah, that's my crazy update of my hospitalizations since November, and my spine being completely fixed now. And I get sick, yeah, in between chemos, but for the month I'm already back on the saddle right now, and I'm doing stuff with my kids. I can go pick them up from school. I'm eating and drinking. I'm doing really good. So yeah, good update for you guys. So hopefully the next video, nothing bad happens. I don't have to repost anything bad, but I said that keep saying that the last video, and I kept ending up in the hospital. But yeah, so all right, I love you guys, and thanks for watching.